Hello there. Welcome, pre-algebra students, to Chapter 3, Section 5 notes. We are going to be adding and subtracting fractions, your favorite thing to do here. All you'll have to work with you is the 20 by 20 times table that we've had in class. No calculators on this because we've got to master this skill without that piece of technology, and we'll bring that in later when the problems get a little bit harder. So what we're going to do is begin with putting your name on your paper here, and I don't know what that little mark is. Hopefully it's not on your paper. I'm at home doing this, but if you would put your name, you should also put the date on your paper as well, which I did not give you a line for. So if you would do that. We're going to talk about like fractions. Like fractions, which we do like. Like fractions are fractions that have the same denominator. Okay, well, these are the easy ones. We like these because they are easy, and that makes us happy, because simply put, to add like fractions, all you have to do is add the numerators and write that sum, that's the answer, over the denominator. Okay, so you're going to add, basically, simply put, you're going to add the top number, the a and the b is going to become a plus b, and you just keep the bottom number the same. Here's an example. I think this is blocked out on your page, so you'll have to write this in, I believe. Okay, if we have 2/8 plus 3/8, what we do is we add the 2 plus 3, put it over 8, and we make our final answer is really 5/8. So you see how we kept the denominator the same, and then you just add the top numbers. Now, thing with fractions, it's the only way you can do that. You can only add them or subtract them when you have the same denominator. The same thing is true when you subtract. I think I just said that you add or subtract, but that's what this box is down here. If you subtract like fractions, all right, you're going to subtract the fractions. In order to do that, you're going to subtract the numerators. Okay, keep the denominator. So bottom line is, let's summarize this over here. Okay, here it is. You add or subtract the top number, that's the numerator, and you keep the denominator. All right, that's the only way to add or subtract. This is or, add or subtract the top number, and then you keep the bottom number the same. Okay, it's pretty simple when they're the same. So, but the thing is, if it's not the same, that'll come later, next couple days. If it's not the same, you've got some work to do, and that gets a little bit tricky for you there. So let's look at, I believe this is the back page for you, if you want to flip that over. Okay, it should look like this. I don't have the paper in front of me, so I can't remember if that's on the back or at the bottom here. But if we're going to add or subtract these numbers, let's just start with number 1. You have 3/6 plus 5/6. So the first thing I should do is I should look at these denominators and I ask myself, are they the same number? You have to do that first. Now that's going to happen for the most part today. Not so much in a couple of days. If they are the same number, you know that that's going to be over 6. And all you do is you do this operation to the top. You add or subtract it. 5 plus 3 is 8. Now you do have to write it in simplest form. And 8 over 6 actually reduces down to 4 over 3. Okay, but what we would prefer to do that is go ahead and turn that into a mixed number, which is 1 and 1/3. There is your best answer. Okay, I think 2 is easy enough. We can skip that one. Let's go on to number 3 here, as we'll get these concepts reinforced here, I believe, well enough. Notice what we have here. We have 4/12 minus 10/12. Okay, there's that subtraction problem. So we're going to boom, boom. We're going to change that to addition, right? Keep it. It's kind of like multiplication, keep, change, change. When we first did it, we just said boom, boom, because you put 2 marks, you change this sign, and you change the sign of what's being subtracted. And now if we do that, now if you recall, we used colors. This is a positive number right here, right? That 4, so that's like blue. And the 10/12 is negative, so those are like reds there. Okay, so those are reds. So do you remember the algebra tiles and how we learned this originally? If we have 4 blues and 10 reds, remember how a blue and a red cancel out? 4 plus negative 10 is negative 6 over, keep the denominator, 12. Now that can reduce. Both of them have a factor of 2. You can divide both by 2. And remember how we learned to do that on the multiplication chart? Go across, you find common factors on the same row. Negative, it's a negative 1 over 2, because 6 divided by 2 is, I said divided by 2. What am I thinking? You guys thought I had a mistake. Divide that by 6. Divide that by 6. Okay, that's negative 1 over 2. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Right, and that is the final answer there for that question. Let's jump down to number 3 here. All right, same idea. 8/15 minus 11/15. Boom, boom. Change that to addition. Keep the first one, change it to add, change the sign of the second one. Now, do we have the same denominator? Yes, we have 15 on the bottom. And so we just add 8 plus negative 11, which is negative 3. So we have negative 3 over 15. All right, when we get into 5 and 6, it gets a little trickier because we have mixed numbers here, but we're going to do our check mark. Remember that? Multiply, divide. Remember multiply and add. Multiply 3 times 8, add 3. 24, 25, 26, 27. That's 27 over 8. You need to write all this down. Plus 6 times 8 plus 5 is 40. That's 48. Whoops. I added that wrong. It's 6 times 8 is 48, but once you add the 5, it ends up at 53. 53 eighths. Okay, so again, 3 and 3/8 became that. 6 and 5/8 became that. Now, you keep the denominator the same. You add 27 plus 53, that works out to be 80, and that's a nice, easy problem because we have to simplify it. 8 goes into 80 10 times. That worked out real nicely for me. So, that's 5. And let's look at number 6, as that one's a little bit trickier here, and I'm going to draw a separating line for that, just so you can keep them separated here. Well, let's do the same thing. 6 times 2, 2 times 6 plus 1 is 13 over 6, plus 8 times 6 plus 3. Okay, 8 times 6, 48, 49, 50, 51. Sixths. We add those together, and we get 64 over 6. So look for a common factor. There is a common factor of 2, so let's divide both of them by 2 to reduce it. 64 divided by 2 is 32. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so now we have to turn this into mixed, and I've seen some issues on this, so I'll show you again how to do this. You're going to divide 3 into 32. Okay, so it's 32 divided by 3. Bottom number is the one that goes inside. 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. That's 0. Bring down the 2. 3 will not go into 2, so you got to put a 0 there. Multiply 3 times 0 is 0, and you've got 2 left. So you have 10. You have 2 remainder out of 3. So that's 2/3. You have 2 parts out of 3. So the final answer there is 10 and 2/3 is what that works down to. Okay, so those are the basics of it. I'm going to stop this video, and in the next 2 videos I'm going to show you a couple of applications, and later on we'll talk about an alternate way to do this addition without changing them to improper, but for now it's probably the best way to go about doing that. So prepare for video 2. Bye.